Hello. This is an awkward angle. So Whitney, why did you go out to the Mojave Desert when you don't sweat and you're pregnant and just doesn't seem like a good idea? You've been sick this whole pregnancy and tired. Well, A, because Harley-Davidson hooked it up. But I was like, I'm not gonna say no. Now, am I gonna go tear it up like I normally would? No. But I'm still gonna have some fucking fun. Because you're allowed to have fun as a pregnant woman with a lot of motorcycle riding experience. But yesterday, flew in, got up at 4 a.m. Ruby kept me up all night because there was this giant storm and it was really loud. It was shaking the whole house. I got no sleep. And took 2 flights, got here. Then we took an Uber, went to the Harley-Davidson Fleet Center, picked up a badass lowrider ST. The second I got on that bike, I fucking felt so much better. So much better. And then Jake and I proceeded to navigate LA traffic, which sucks, and there's a lot of like passive aggressive driving out here, but we cut through I think it's the Los Angeles National Forest. Oh my god, it was so fucking beautiful. I was like, if we had to go home tonight, I'd be happy. It was just, being up there is so magical, and it's fun cruising, it's fun. The lowrider ST was like the perfect bike for that. There's like an MV Agusta dad behind me and they're trying to tear it up or whatever. Then we rode through the desert, which is not my favorite thing. Like one straight line, you start to get like hyper target focused. It gets really hypnotic. This happened once when Josh and I were riding in the desert too, and it was at night. And so he was just like, you know, a tail light. And man, you start fading quick. Psychologically, I don't know how people sit and crush miles in a straight line. It's kind of like psychosis inducing, at least for me. I don't know if anybody else experiences psychosis, but it kind of comes on when I'm just like staring at one thing in the distance. We got lost and we ended up at Rawhide Adventure at the hottest point of the day. I kind of started freaking out a little bit, but I brought this bomb ass like skin cancer umbrella, and then we proceeded to have an awesome night. You know, all the Revzilla hosts are here, so meeting them is awesome. Some other ADV content people, which was great. Just overall, the Zakar facility is really cool. I didn't know what to expect. I don't do this. I'm not somebody who can afford to do this, but man, if it's your birthday or your anniversary or something, I highly recommend coming out here. And like I said, I was pretty nervous, right? I am not physically 100%. I don't really have a ton of off-road experience, but enough to feel like I could competently do this. And so if you're nervous about doing something like this, they really make it easy for you. They really do make it accessible. They've got routes based on paved, beginner, moderate, and then advanced. And they were saying too, if like you're on a dirt bike, the advanced isn't gonna seem that bad. This is all ADV specific riding. So big, hunky-dunky bikes. Everybody has a GS. Everybody and their mom has a GS. If you would have told me even like a year ago, hey, you're gonna take a lowrider ST off pavement, I would have been like, no, that's never happening. But it's fun, it's fucking hilarious. I don't have a choice. We were supposed to have Pan Americas, but it turns out they're in very high demand. So, which wasn't a big deal. I didn't come out here thinking I was gonna ride sun up to sundown. I don't have that kind of energy, obviously. But there was enough, there's demo rides from Triumph, Yamaha. I don't think BMW is out here, and Harley-Davidson. And they go every hour. We went out this morning for an hour. That was my plan. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go out in the morning. I'm gonna go on a demo ride. I'm gonna have some fucking fun. And I'm gonna go take a goddamn nap, and it is going to feel divine. We went out with the Yamaha group. I'm not allowed to film. You have to fill out, this happened with CF Moto. You're not allowed to film unless you have a media pass. Getting a media pass last minute is a pain in the ass. But I rode a Tenere 700, and it was just like, oh my God, it's not a lowrider ST, this is amazing. That bike is a lot of fun. And so we went off-roading, we went on, I don't know if it's Rever, that's like the app, the off-roading app, or Rawhide or Revzilla. I'm not sure I'm sure it's a collaborative effort as to who's coming up with these trails, but we went on this like beginner ADV loop, and they had a harsh winter in Mojave, so a bunch of shit was washed out. A lot of people are complaining that everything is washed out. It's extremely sandy. It's a lot sandier than it normally is. It's the desert. I'm not surprised by any means. It was just beautiful. There was a shit ton of those fucking windmills, like a creepy amount. Like they don't plan where they go. There's just 1,000 of them in a short period of time. So it was like a little dystopian, but it was beautiful. We had some people wipe out in the sand or whatever, and they were totally fine. Everything was fine, but I suddenly feel different now. I don't know if it's aging or motherhood or whatever, or being pregnant and being like, I'm not fucking falling no matter what. But every time I hit like big gigantic pockets of sand, I was just saying the mantra, fuck you bitch, and I got through it. It was just fine. Actually, it was great. I was impressed with all the first half of the loop is mostly sand, but we did pull over, and the instructor was like, look, I want you to have fun, and I want you to be safe. And he's like, if you don't want to, then don't. But he's like, speed is your friend. And I was like, I know, I haven't been off-roading in almost a year. I haven't been on sand in a few years. So I'm just acclimating. But I knew that he was right. I knew I had to kick it up a notch. So I did. So I doubled my speed, a little bit more than doubled my speed. And sure enough, when you do that, the bike wants to stay upright, right? The bike wants to stay upright. But what I have noticed is when people go down, it's because they are looking at the bike ahead of them. And the bike ahead of them, is squirmy. So they freak out, they tense up, they tense on the bars and fall over. And once I got up to speed, it was actually the fastest I've ever been off-road, which isn't still not very fast. But, when you're doing 40, 45 and you're used to doing 20, I felt extremely confident. It was beautiful. It was it's like you're on a different planet out here. I could see why people travel all over the world to come here and ride, because it's really cool. I'd love to come back. I'd love to come back with my own bike. I'd love to come back with my husband and just fucking rip it. But after that ride, guess what? I was fucking out of breath. My back hurt. I was like, I've been living on the couch, nauseous as fuck for the last 4 weeks. I haven't been being active at all. So I knew that was my sign to go back to the hotel by myself, because Jake was still out filming with Harley-Davidson. And they told me pretty much, they're like, you should stay back, because they were going out with the engineer who worked on the Pan America. And I was like, y'all have fun. Sounds great. I'll get there someday, I know it, but I'm not taking any extra risks right now. But I got up, did the thing, so glad I did. Just even getting out, we were probably gone for an hour and a half. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. If you've never been off-road, I know there's some people in my Discord, it makes them nervous. You gotta go. There's actually, there's quite a lot of off-roading schools. There's one in Texas too that I've been meaning to go to. It's kind of far and it's expensive, right? Everything's fucking expensive, as it should be. These are everybody usually is an ex-racer, and they open up a camp, and you can do it that way. There's especially if you live in the Midwest, you live by a dirt biking camp. You live by a dirt biking camp. I know you do. I'm gonna go on my birthday. It's $200 for a one-on-one session, and I think it's 3 or 4 hours. You could have a fancy steak dinner, or you could go dirt biking. All my GoPros died in terms of audio. I'm really fucked. It almost seems like a sign, though. I'm one of those people where I'm like, I don't know, maybe it doesn't fucking matter. Maybe you want to see me talk and do voiceovers. Does it matter? I don't think it does. Also, it allows you to just enjoy the ride a little bit more versus fucking trying to collect your thoughts and take in the scenery and keep a bike upright. So yeah, this is day 2. I don't know if we're gonna ride on Sunday, so it might be 2 of 3, it might be 2 of 4, I'm not sure. So stay tuned, let's see how the night goes. Fuck. I will not care what I look like right now, because I went on an adventure this morning. I am fucking wiped. and I gotta head back to eat dinner and find Jake. Wow, I don't even know where to start. Okay, let's start at the beginning. Got up really early, went to the HD demo truck. They said we could have Pan Ams for half the day, which is amazing. We were gonna go out to, I wanna call it Tapioca Flats, Trona Pinnacles, which is where they filmed some Star Trek. It's an hour on the highway. It's an hour there, it's an hour back. Nice, good morning, you know, trying to get back before it gets too hot. The ride out there was awesome, but we get to this road, it's closed. Jake goes and talks to the cop. There's some like massive crash. It's way quicker to go down this road. He lets us pass. We're having fun. We're ripping it on the highway. See the crash. No one was working fast on that scene. That's scary. People out here in the desert do drive insane. When you're in the desert, you'll like go 3 miles and you're like, are we there yet? Because there's just no, you know, visual indicators to represent time or length. There's nothing out there, which is crazy. I love it. We get out there and I got in my head last night, I was really worried, you know, just about my current physical condition, about going out there, but I knew I was on a Pan Am, I knew I was on a bike that I liked a lot. And it's all flat, right? It's desert. We're not doing any mountain climbing, and it's cool and it's weird, and you're definitely on another fucking planet. And we get up there, we sit, we find a little bit of shade. It's just outrageously beautiful. Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like, that's what ADV riding to me is all about. It's like finding some beautiful natural formations, seeing the fucking landscape. Wow, it's the best way to travel, in my opinion. So this is where the adventure part comes in. Oh, I stink. Anyways, Jake and Ben are like, let's go tear it up. I am starving and it's getting very hot, and I'm like, okay, I wish I could tear it up next time I'm out here, but I gotta be cognizant of the heat and what I'm physically capable of. I brought snacks and I ate them all, and I was still hungry, because it turns out when you're building a human, you need a lot more food than what I brought. And they leave, they go tear it up, and Jake and I are like, you know what, I'm gonna just take the main road to the entrance. I'll wait for you guys at the entrance. And I won't veer off, I'll just go straight to the entrance. I can't get the Pan Am upright because we're in like silty, sandy, crevicey mountain, whatever. So it's like really deep, and so I have to like muscle it up. I get it up. Yeah, I get it up. I'm like sweating, starting to feel like the heat migraine come on. I'm like, God damn it. So on the way back, I'm picking up speed. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. I'm doubling my speed. But it's rocky and whatever. And then the second that you get confident, I hit a fucking sand wigwam, like a big washout. Oh my God. I see me and the bike start swimming on sand. You know, it's like you're on ice. And I see the rear tire on my left side. And I'm like, but the Pan Am just does it. We just go. And everything's fine. I crashed 5 or 6 times in the sand with a GS, and I could not fucking figure it out, and it was a pain in the ass, and I gave up. And then I went rock climbing in a Jeep Gladiator, which was equally as fun. But I know for a fucking fact, if I was on a GS, I would have crashed. Would have just ate it. Just would have like, you know, just fell over. The Pan Am just helps you. There's a lot of rider cheat codes in that bike on purpose. I'm gonna come out with a different video. It's gonna be diabolical. But I feel confident, especially after talking to all the Harley people, all the sweet Harley people out here. Hear me. I don't see Jake and Ben anywhere. And you can see for, you know, probably 1.5 miles. Like, you can see it's flat. And I'm like, fuck. I gotta go. I gotta put my safety first. If I stand here and fucking wait for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it's not gonna be good. So I remembered how I got out here. It was pretty easy. So I was like looking, I was like, could I write in the sand like Whitney went back home? But there was just nothing. There's nothing out there. So I called Jake, leave a voicemail, and I dip. Fucking get back on the highway. It feels so good, just like the air going by. And riding alone I don't like, just because I have a lot of intrusive thoughts while riding. So I'm like, what if there was like a big herd of sheep and I saw them coming up real quick? I was like, if they dart out in front of me, I don't know what's gonna happen. But they didn't. You know, you start just like all the intrusive thoughts. What if I get a flat tire? What if my wheel falls off? What if my axle pops out and I smash my face into the pavement, the hot pavement? You know, just like fun stuff like that. I get back to the car and I start chatting with them. I'm like, dude, this, every time I get on the Pan Am, it just reminds me how awesome it is. And they're affirming how I feel about it, obviously, like it's their job or something. But you know, you can tell that these people give a shit. They're different than other demo trucks. I won't name who, but they are. I'm just hoping that Jake wouldn't be mad at me because I left. And I really hope he wouldn't waste time waiting for me either. And he wasn't mad. They came back maybe like 40 or 50 minutes after me. He's like, I figured since you were hot, you would go to the nearest place with ice and air conditioning. And I was like, no, I didn't want to confuse you or have you assume that that's what I would do, or just going to the hotel and jumping in the pool with all my motorcycle gear, because I knew that would have felt really good. But guess what? The car has showers. That facility literally has fucking everything. It's great. And there was, I went nuts like a crazy pregnant lady. There were sandwiches and chips and granola bars and brownies, and I needed all of it, and it all felt it was all delicious. Yeah, that was day 2. Just had to change my flight. I was really hoping to leave tomorrow, but we can only return the bikes on Monday morning, which is fine, but I miss my fucking family, man. I just want to bring my kids out here. I don't want to come out here by myself. I know when my kids leave the house, they're gonna go be gone, and that's when I'll travel by myself. But when they're little, fucking come with me. Come with me. I'm gonna figure that out. I'm gonna be the touring ADV mom with children strapped to her head and in her camel pack. And I mean, it's like, I guess I have one baby with me, but it's protected deep inside my meat suit, so I can't, like, you know, hang out the way that you would anticipate to hang out with a human. It was fun. Like, today was just, it was fun. It was a blast. I don't know what we're gonna do tomorrow. I don't know if we have bikes tomorrow. ADV riding, man. It's in the name. What an adventure. And I was just laughing on the way home. I'm like, what am I doing? I shouldn't be doing this. I should be doing this. I should be doing whatever the fuck I want. And that's what I want to do. And I did it. Man, shout out Harley-Davidson for providing this opportunity, because there ain't no way I was going to drive a bike out here, lug a bike out here, drive here. I hate long car rides. They're so boring. So the price to pay is having to drive a lowrider ST over the sand and gravel and park it. And people are like taking pictures of me leaving because I look like a silly person. They're just jealous, I think. They're pretty bikes, big shiny bikes. All right, I'm gonna drive back there. I'm going to go off-road the lowrider ST again to go eat food. Stay tuned. I don't know, like, maybe I'll do a wrap up tomorrow, or if we're riding, I'll try to get some fun riding footage. If we're not riding, then we're crying. Somebody told me that their buddy broke their ankle the first day. I was like, oh, that's such a bummer. Bye.